And I mean, you guys have known us for a long time now. And I mean, the hustle, 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 go, 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 like mentality is like innately within all of us.
Yes.
And, you know, for Derek to like, oh, I'm going to take a couple months off and, you know, go to Japan and like that in and of itself, you know, when we look back on our lives, we're going to look at those moments and, you know, who cares how many apartment complexes or, you know, whatever we build up, it's fun. However, like, I think, you know, the past few years, we've been able to integrate more of the self-care, more of the intentional moments. And I mean, just starting with like the 5 minutes to an hour a day of that intentional time, like that compounds. I mean, you want to talk about
a lot
ROI and compounding and all that, that's going to really give back to you.
Yeah, if you have some time to be able to focus on what's really important in your business and why.
I would love to ask, you know, Sophie, if one has to get started with the internal wiring, how would you suggest, like step by step, or what should they do?
The first thing you know, and I hate to say this because we were talking about I think maybe just take a break, take a vacation. Like, you know, just,
I love that.
We live in a world that's we're highly stimulated every day. And, and like our assistant, you know, I was just so jealous because he went camping for 3 days with no access to cell phones, no internet. And I think that's the best way to kind of reset ourselves sometimes. Like, you know, just to just get our systems like removed from any stress, you know, again, that reduces inflammation too. Then we can get clear on, okay, like you get better in touch with your body as well. It's like, oh, I'm craving vegetables, you know, like, you know, you're not seeing McDonald's everywhere. And then also like, it does give us clarity of purpose of like, what is the next best decision to make that's going to help us optimize? Because we're so stimulated, we just want to like do the things and we end up on that, you know, that hamster wheel again. Right. And so whenever like I, you know, again, this might be a roundabout way to answer your question, but I think that the stress component that we're inundated with on a daily basis, with everything that we have on our plates, if we can just take a clear look at like to your point, what do we prioritize first? What's actually truly needed in our lives, and to simplify. So you simplify internally, you simplify externally, and I mean then you can automate and, you know.
Yeah, and even you can automate your health systems too. Like there's ways to go about it where, you know, you can put trackers in and accountabilities. Like there's ways to use some of like cross over some of the things that you're learning on the external side and apply it to you. But Sophie, you know, has really she's held me accountable for a lot of the things that I was going to do, but I couldn't do because my body was starting to break. My stress levels were getting too high. And it was getting to a point where it's not sustainable. So having that is really important. And over time, she can talk about her whole model, which is wellness, healing, optimization, lifestyle, longevity, lifestyle, and then empowerment or the mindset piece. And how all of those, the WHOLE, you work down from the top to your goals and just get yourself like in a system that helps provide for your own wellness so that you can thrive in the outside world. It's just, you know, it's pointless if you're sick and unhealthy and trying to build systems to help serve other people when you yourself can't sustain the output, right? Or can't sustain your current, what you're doing in the current time. So that's why it's really important to keep mind, right? And that's just been our story. That's what Sophie's been doing. Like I run off at the races and she kind of reins me back, and I help her a lot of times, and I hold her back sometimes to like sit back and say, hey, really reflect on what is important. What do you actually want? What's the outcome?
Yeah. I'll share with you guys something that was like a perfect example of our fusion. So it's like, okay, we're going to do like the 75 hard, right? Let's get a system in place. And we committed to a plant-based, you know, anti-inflammatory diet. And it's a lot of work to try to cook and get those recipes. So then Derek over here, he actually built out this whole like software spreadsheet kind of thing where like you just plug in, like it's like he put in all the recipes that we needed. And it's like, okay, I want 3 servings of this, 2 servings of that. And auto-populated everything, and then it went to Instacart,
Oh.
and then everything got delivered. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this would take me like all day.
Awesome.
And then I
Wow.
would just meal prep it, and then we would have our meals for the whole week. And he wouldn't be tempted to go get in and out.
Yeah, take the friction away, because if you do, I'm gonna go and like get temptation, right? Because if you have any type of like, resistance, you're gonna try to find what's easy.
Yeah, that friction. And then like working out is a huge friction for me, right? And so in the morning, what we did was we got this light that like slowly like gets brighter and brighter and brighter and then your alarm is like birds chirping. Like if you're waking up to like that's awful. And that actually spikes your cortisol, spikes the stress hormone, and that's awful to wake up to. So you kind of ease into your morning, and then we would work out together, and then we would meditate together. So that was like built into our day, and so that day was just like our together time, our bonding time too. So just to give you guys some more examples.
Love it.
I don't have a problem I don't have a problem. I think I'm one of the most driven persons as far as getting up and going to the gym. That's like instinctually built into me. I wake up, coffee, gym. Now the diet's a different story. I like my wife's gone. She's out of the country for 2 weeks, and like I'm just like indulging on like fast food and like all this stuff right now. It's terrible. But like I don't want to cook, and then today I was like in a rush. I got a huge super burrito. The discipline from the gym and getting up is very easy for me. But I do need, what I realize is it's very difficult for me to time block and to be able to focus the efforts when I time block. Like I'll go, okay. Like if I heard that I was watching a YouTube video about this guy that started ConvertKit, and they do like newsletter app and stuff. The guy is a genius. And he's like, I wrote like basically 2.5-page article every day for 600 days in a row. And like he blew up, he built he gained huge followers, and it's like those type of discipline. But like, if we could have really focus time, like where we're creating content. Cause like, I think you need, like, if you're going to create content, you also have to you can't just magically like create content. Like, although Vinney and I do a good job of just, not preparing and just going for it and just talking about some stuff. And then Vinney, but if we actually started to time block and say, okay, like here's the trending topics that we should talk about. Multifamily, multifamily syndicators are in trouble in Atlanta. Couldn't kick out the tenant. Like, start coming around content that's relevant and like time block. How do you plan your days? What advice do you have for time blocking and like really like getting the most out of your day and having those surges of efficiencies that I am lacking?
Do you have an answer for that? Because I do actually. If you wanted to.
Well, I think like I like, for me, like I like to structure my days for like deep work days, and then you have to have like a restorative day too, to get ready. Just days that are structured where I'm not task switching so much, because that really messes me up. So if I'm gonna do content or just work on work on treatment plans or work on marketing, like I designate those days to it and then just crank it out. And so I don't know how Derek does it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I layer that on top. So not only do I have like specific time blocks for focus time in the middle of the day, like my mornings are completely free. I do consults in the afternoon, Beau, and what my advice would be for you and also for other people who are looking for ways to create more focus time is when your body like thinks best. A lot of people nighttime, right? Some people think clear at night, and some people think really sharp in the morning. So make sure that whenever you're doing this, you're planning your focus time in those biorhythms where that you're thinking the sharpest, right? And there's a lot that goes into that though, Beau, that touches on Sophie's side. It's like you have to be hydrated, you got to be well rested, and you have to be eating correctly for these things to work correctly, right? So if your body, like if you're forcing yourself to have focus time, it would be really a shame if you created something that ended up not being the quality that you wanted, but you ended up wasting all that time. So instead of taking the time to have the awareness to be like, I'm not in the right frame of mind right now, like this can wait. You can put a pause on that right? And then come back to it tomorrow when you're more well rested and energized. I'm not saying, break the streak or anything, but you definitely need to have like a backlog of stuff so that it's not all like depending on you every single day, where you have like a little bit of wiggle room to take vacation time. And that's one of my biggest like principles is always like when I create content, Beau, Vinney, I create 50 pieces at one time with one process and like a day's worth of video, right? On Loom, scrolling through my social media feeds and just talking about social media posts that I really like, and then my VAs will take that timestamp, they'll take that image and they'll take my words and transcribe it and run it through AI and recreate that image that I was talking about to create a post. And they'll do 50 of those. And then what you do, guys, is you take those posts and you scramble them. So you're posting on day one, you're posting post number 1 on LinkedIn. And then on day number 2, you're posting post number 42 on Facebook. And so it looks like organic content on all the platforms. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is like, whatever your focus time is, just do it with intention, build a system around it, and make sure that your body is ready for it. And if it's not going to be an efficient session for you, don't do it. Take the time to recover so that you can get to it better and hit it full swing when you're ready for it the next time.
Because like that was my first step the other day with Phil was like, all right, well, why am I leaving my calendar open? I mean, obviously if there was a call, they couldn't book during that, but why not just have us like narrow the window? And now I have all these hours in the morning. And what if I could be like, now I can be extremely like, like I've always been in like this hustle mindset where it's like, I get done with the gym, I shower, sometimes I don't shower, and I come sit at my desk. And it's like, I'm here grinding all day. And it's definitely not the right way of going about it. Whereas like this conversation today is really opening my mind. Like, look, we got to look at the internals and the external factors and put them together in a cohesive manner. So I can be extremely like, that's the only way I'm going to get the results I want. Right. Like that's the problem. I was too, this and that. And like, then, I'm dealing with stuff. And also like, is there a reason why I have to read my text messages, right? Like 24/7.
Sophie's.
And so like right now, just as I picked up my phone, somebody's calling me.
That phone is like, his mistress. It's like, it's always, no, it's like you said, Beau, it's like the attention is, like I don't know what it is. I think it's created to be that way. It's an addiction, right? And so if we can kind of get underneath that and just start taking inventory of what are the things that are actually sucking your energy, so that you can have control back. Because that's what a lot of my clients, they just have trouble like gaining, that's the empowerment part. It's like they don't feel like they have control of their lives. Everyone else has a little bit of you except you.
Right.
Right. So that's also a big thing too. I need to do is turn my notifications off and just say it's okay not to respond to somebody for a couple hours because they're interrupting my time. How am I ever going to do deep work if I'm getting interrupted every 20 seconds? Yeah. 100%. And so like this has been like an amazing counseling session. This is like a Phil session right now.
Well, you and I, we all have the same coaches, so.
The thing is, Beau, is like what you're going through is very common. Yeah. Like I've gone through it. Everyone is going through this type of thing. It really is, the modern lifestyle that we have. And that's why it's super important to remember the internal systems with the external, because both of them are just not, you can't take them out of balance. Like you can't just work on business alone and not have time for yourself or focus on your own body and what you do. Because in the end, when you're sitting there lying on your deathbed, right? You're not going to look back at how much work you've done. You're going to look back at how you felt, the experiences you created, and business is definitely part of it. But really, like, I just think, we go overboard, and Sophie helps remind me all the time, because I have the tendency to do that, to just run with something, that it's important to focus on what it is that we're why we're trying to build something in the first place. And that's balance, sustainability, crushing it when you need to, like really working hard and going through sprints. Definitely you got to do that, right? That's that way you have to. But keeping in mind that in the end, you want to add quality years to your life, not take them away.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys have known us for a long time now. And I mean, the hustle, go, like mentality is like like innately within all of us.
Yes.
And, you know, for Derek to like, oh, I'm going to take a couple months off and, you know, go to Japan and like, that in and of itself, you know, when we look back on our lives, we're going to look at those moments and, you know, who cares how many apartment complexes or, you know, whatever we built up, it's fun. However, like, I think, you know, the past few years, we've been able to integrate more of the self-care, more of the intentional moments. And I mean, just starting with like the 5 minutes to an hour a day of that intentional time, like that compounds. I mean, you want to talk about
a lot
ROI and compounding and all that. That's going to really give back to you.
Yeah. If you have some time to be able to focus on what's really important in your business and why, like, you know, we need to create more content, Beau, right? That's absolutely true. But why? At what point is it enough? Or at what point do you want to start outsourcing a lot of this, like to another team member and then doing a joint venture? Lots and lots of questions start coming out of these points of stillness. So,
yeah. Well, I also think too, and now I'm thinking it's also not just creating content, it's creating content that actually resonates with people and they get value out of it. Like there's nothing better when somebody books a call and they're like, hey, I watch your videos and like, it's great. I just want to, like, I get like a natural high from that. So
yeah, no, that's really great stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I need to work. So where are you guys now anyways? Like what country?
We're
in Austin.
We're in Austin for the next week, and then we actually are moving up to Washington.
To Bellingham, actually, if you've heard of, in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, closer to Vancouver, Canada than Seattle.
Vancouver is like so beautiful. Bellingham, how far are you guys from, let me see how far
it's
you're
like
from my friend.
45 minutes to an hour away from Vancouver.
Do you watch Virgin River by chance? It's a cheesy show.
Oh, actually, I think my parents do.
Really?
I have to ask them. Yeah.
Oh, my friend lives in Bonnie Lake, which is 2 hours from Bellingham.
Yeah, we know where that is.
Yeah.
We know where that is.
My marketing guy, Bill, moved from the Bay Area there.
Amazing.
But Virgin River, you can watch on Netflix. They film it right up there somewhere. And it's like, I always, like, it's supposed to be California, but it's filmed in, like, right over there in Vancouver. It's like beautiful, beautiful countryside. And anyways, so you guys are moving there to live for a while or for like a month or what's the plan?
I think we may move there just because like we want to continue doing some investments on the residential side. So we're going to pick up like a fourplex and move into a fourplex and fix it up a little bit. But we know there's still going to be
Yeah.
We already have plans to go back to Japan for 2 months in September through November next year. Just because we did the spring this year and we want to do the fall next year. And so we just love Japan. It's like one of our favorite places.
Yeah, I think we make it a priority to like schedule, I don't know, just like intentional, like, I don't know, self-rejuvenation time is all I can, the best way to put it. It's a pattern
interrupt as well.
What about scheduling? I was just kidding. Like married couples, they should schedule date nights and schedule, the special nights.
Yeah.
Derek's got a spreadsheet for that. Date nights and special nights. On those nights, he cooks dinner and brings out a good glass of wine.
Beau, like we've tried that, but like there's something about it that takes away the magic, Yeah. Would you do it that way?
Now that I'm married, you got
like spontaneity in, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's different when like I never had a baby before, so now it's like it's an interesting experience because like I'm just not used to this big mound in my wife's stomach or uterus or whatever. It's like this is weird, It's like, and she's like petite, and now she's kind of like you hug her and you're like, well, this is so weird to witness. I mean, like I feel like a dork because like I'm like almost. I'll be 40. Yeah, I'm 46, and I have your first child. It's interesting though. People are having kids later in life, and like I'm glad I waited till I did, and I didn't know I wanted to wait till I was 50.
Wow.
Actually, but cool. I was like, because I'm going to live till I'm 110 at least.
Yeah, for sure. So, that 50 is the new 30, to be honest.
Yes.
So I think you're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, this has been a great 20-minute episode.
Yeah, I know. This was so amazing. The whole conversations and lots of clips will be made. How can people reach you both? Derek and Sophie.
I'll let,
Yeah,
I'll let Sophie go first. Maybe your website?
sure.
Yeah, my website. I have my own practice. It's Live Whole You.
Mhm.
Just those three words: live and then whole and then YOU.com.
And you can also find her on social media too. So she's around on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, he's automated all those things for me, which I'm so grateful for.
I love it.
Yeah, and then
Love it.
and then for me, check me out on the Elevate Equity podcast, or actually it's called the 3 Degrees of Freedom podcast. Which, by the way, I need to have both of you guys back on, especially you, Beau. I don't think you've been on
I'd
yet.
love to.
So we got to have you.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
check me out there, or just go to elevateequity.org. You can check out everything that we have going on there. Lots of education, free stuff. I'm still building out like the system training. I want to do like more courses and mastermind groups on that. So stay tuned. I'll have some more stuff on that later.
Love it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, so much great nuggets that you gave, and everybody watching us. Remember, it's crush24.com. If you have not looked at it or not registered, or somebody gave you this clip, please go back there. You will get into the email, and then we'll be dropping 31 great everyday clips, and then we might even repeat it again. I know Beau and I have been talking, because these are gold nuggets, and many times
we'll
our
break
brain. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, we're going to break. Yeah, this will be broken up in a couple micro clips because people don't have attention to sit through an hour.
Yeah.
But if we chop it up in 7 or 8 minute chunks of knowledge bombs, I think that's good.
It works.
So yeah. So basically, from this hour, we could probably produce like 40 great reels, posts, and so forth. So Vinney, we're going to track it on this episode, and we're going to create a spreadsheet, and we're going to follow the system and see what we can do with it.
Let's do that. And it's going to be in Go High Level, by the way, too, Derek, which you are expert at it, brother. So we want to actually drip the system. Maybe Derek can help us how to drip each video.
You want to build something that's repeatable, right? So you want to build a spreadsheet that you can use for other things in the future. I'm just thinking that
for sure.
So, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure, huh? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so good to see you guys again.
Thank you.